Back in 2003, American soldiers in Iraq began sending home photos of something nightmarish. Huge, hairy, and armed with jaws that seemed impossibly large, the photos were shot from low angles that made the creature appear the size of a human leg. And the stories that came with it were even better. They could run 30 miles an hour. They screamed as they chased you. They killed camels by burrowing through their stomachs. Almost none of it was true, but the animal at the center of it, Galeodes arabs, the Egyptian giant solifuge, is. Although the name is Egyptian, they can be found all over the Middle East and North Africa. This is not a spider. Galeodes arabs belongs to the order Solifugae, a group of roughly 1,000 described species that most people have never heard of. Solifuges are arachnids, but they occupy their own ancient branch of the family tree. They have no silk or venom, with the exception of one strange species. What they have instead are enormous jaws. The chelicerae of Galeodes arabs makes up roughly a third of the animal's entire body length, and their bodies are large. An adult Galeodes arabs can reach 15 centimeters, roughly the span of an outstretched adult man's hand. Each one of the chelicerae consists of two segments that work like a pair of vertical scissors, a fixed upper finger and a movable lower finger lined with teeth, giving it 4 independently operable blades arranged around its mouth. Some teeth are pointed for piercing, others are broad and serrated for shearing. They can cut through skin, bone, feathers, hair, and the exoskeletons of other arthropods. Proportionally, they are among the most powerful jaws of any animal on land. When Galeodes arabs catches prey, it begins by severing the neck. One chelicera grips, the other cuts. Then it alternates between both pairs in a rapid sawing motion, working its way along the entire body of its prey. Simultaneously, it regurgitates digestive fluids onto the shredded tissue, dissolving the flesh externally before sucking the resulting slurry into its body. The animal reduces its prey to a wet pulp and inhales it. Its diet consists of anything it can overpower, primarily ground-dwelling arthropods like crickets, grasshoppers, beetles, and scorpions, but large individuals are well documented killing lizards, birds, and desert rodents. For the animals of the desert floor, Galeodes arabs is an apex predator, and it does not wait for its food to come to it. Galeodes arabs is a pursuit hunter. It runs its prey down. Estimates of its top speed vary, but the commonly cited figure is around 10 miles an hour, making it one of the fastest invertebrates on Earth. A sprinting Galeodes arabs is moving more than 3 times faster than a walking person. To fuel that sprint, it breathes through an elaborate tracheal system. The trachea are a branching network of air tubes that penetrate directly into the tissues, delivering oxygen straight to the muscles. But this is mostly a passive system. There is no pumping mechanism like a lung, so Galeodes arabs can only sustain its top speed in short bursts. It sprints, either catches or fails, and then it must stop and recover. It is a predator built for ambush, not for distance. This is one of the reasons Galeodes arabs is strictly nocturnal. It confines virtually all of its activity to the nighttime hours, retreating into deep burrows or shelters during the day to preserve moisture it would lose through breathing. The entire order is named for its relationship to the sun. Its name, Solifugae, means those who flee the sun, and Galeodes arabs is intensely photophobic. Exposure to direct sunlight sends it into an immediate panicked flight towards the nearest shadow. And this is the source of its most famous myth. Soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan reported that the animals chased them across the desert. What was actually happening was simpler. A person walking in bright sunlight casts a moving shadow. A solifuge, desperate to escape the sun, will sprint towards the shade, appearing to pursue the human. The faster you run, the faster it follows. You aren't being hunted, you are being used as an umbrella. During the day, Galeodes arabs shelters in burrows that it either digs itself or steals from other animals. The arachnids can dig using their chelicerae as shovels in loose sand or soil, and then seals these burrows' entrances with a plug of dead leaves or debris. Water retention is a must. Its exoskeleton is unusually resistant to water loss, more so than any other desert invertebrate. It probably gets most of its water from the body fluids of its prey. A diet of juicy insects and the occasional lizard provides enough liquid to sustain it. Despite having a large pair of eyes on the front of its body, Galeodes arabs sees poorly. The eyes can detect light and shadow, hence the photophobia, but they cannot resolve prey or predators at any real distance. This is an arthropod that runs 10 miles an hour through the desert at night, essentially blind. Instead, it navigates through touch and smell. Its body is covered in thousands of fine sensory hairs, which detect air currents, vibrations, and temperature changes. Its pedipalps, the long leg-like appendages held out in front of the body, sweep back and forth constantly as it moves, functioning as antennae. But the strangest sensory organ on Galeodes arabs is one that no other arachnid possesses. On the underside of its fourth pair of legs sits the malleoli, small, fan-shaped structures, each packed with tens of thousands of chemoreceptors. They appear to detect pheromones or prey odors through the ground itself. They are directly connected to large processing centers in the brain. Nothing else in the arachnid world has them. When threatened, Galeodes arabs does not run or bite, it threatens. First, the animal freezes, pedipalps raised, chelicerae pointed towards the disturbance. If the threat continues, it rears up, chelicerae spread wide, displaying the full span of its jaws. And if that doesn't work, it adds sound. By rubbing the inner surfaces of its chelicerae together across specialized ridges built into their faces, it produces a loud, rasping hiss. The sound is similar to the defensive hissing of vipers. This may not be a coincidence. Solifuge share their habitat and their nocturnal hours with venomous snakes, and a predator that has learned to associate hissing with a venomous bite might hesitate before attacking a hissing solifuge. This may be acoustic mimicry. If this fails, the solifuge either attacks or flees, and after fleeing, it begins frantically digging at the ground, a behavior that looks like a redirected burrowing response, the arachnid equivalent of a panic attack. The reproductive biology of Galeodes arabs is violent even by arachnid standards. The male is smaller and more slender than the female, with proportionally longer legs built for covering distance. He probably finds females by chemical cues, though the mechanism is unknown. On encountering a female, the male approaches and strokes her body with his pedipalps. What happens next has been described as coercion. The male uses his chelicerae to physically bend the female's abdomen over her body. The female enters a state of paralysis triggered by the stress of being seized. With the female immobilized, the male deposits a packet of sperm into the female's reproductive tract using his jaws, and then flees for good reason. Female Galeodes are well documented for killing and eating males before, during, and after mating. The female is larger and heavier, and the male's body represents a large snack for a female who will need every calorie to make babies. After mating, the female enters a period of intense feeding. She gorges on prey, building up fat reserves because once she begins laying eggs, she will stop eating entirely. When she is ready, she digs a burrow and deposits her eggs inside. In some Galeodes species, the female guards the egg chamber, remaining with the clutch until the young emerge. The total development time from egg to adult takes several months, to over a year, depending on temperature and food. Then, the desert nightmare cycle begins again.